Today I want to talk about what has been working for me for the past 20 plus years, and especially in the past 2 decades. Well, I'm in my second decade now after 40. I'm now 51. What has been working for me and what continues to work for me after I'm 40. And I'll give you a little of the specifics of what I work with when I'm supporting clients in our Superstar Elite program. Now, I'm not here to convince anybody of anything because I believe that we all need to find our way, and not one thing works exclusively for everybody. So I want you to just make these decisions based on what you feel is right for your body and what your needs are. And we all have specific, and as women, if you're a guy watching this, that's great. I love that. I love that you're here too. But as women, we're very emotional, intuitive beings. And in a whip, there's a lot of men that are too. And the thing about that is that we feel someone or something or some strategy is better for us than another. So don't worry about like all of the information that's being shared out there, because there's a lot of information. I'm just sharing with you what works for me, how I live, and how I thrive, and that I'm excited to continue to share this because I know it has been working, and I know the women that I'm working with, it's working for them too. But it's not for everybody, right? Everybody needs to find what works for them. So as a basic, what I've done, and I just want to break this down without going into my full story. I started off many years ago in the diets, okay, and learning how to prioritize strength training changed everything. And that I'm so thankful that I had that experience and that expertise, because now I'm able to dive into this deeper after the age of 40. Because the research that I've done now, and I've been studying now since I turned 40, even before that, on what happens to our women's bodies as we're going through perimenopause and menopause and the midlife stages. And there's not a lot of information out there, and that's probably why you might be confused too. There's a lot of confusing and conflicting information, but at the basis of it all, just knowing that there's not a lot of hardcore evidence on what it means to confirm that you're in menopause or you're in perimenopause. Like, there's no test to confirm it. Like say a pregnancy test. It's like you're either pregnant or you're not, right? Well, you don't know if you're in perimenopause by a test. Like, they could test your hormones, yes, and guess that more than likely this is what happens. These are where the hormones are at when you're in perimenopause. So there you go. So that's a guess. But the best thing that I could say is that okay, you're gonna know. I'm going through these situations. I have these symptoms, and I'm going through these challenges. Maybe you are gaining weight more than before. Like, what you've done before isn't working anymore. Maybe you're having erratic periods, all right, or you've stopped altogether. Great, that's a big sign too. Your energy can be fluctuating. You're having hot flashes. You're not sleeping as well as you used to. You're forgetting things, and you're like, am I losing my mind? These are all symptoms and signs of this stage of life. So again, we know ourselves best. So that's the first thing I just want to put out there. And the information I share with you, again, it's what's worked for me, but use your own intelligence and what feels right for you, because that's how I make decisions. I don't know if I'm sure most women, most people, and anyway, humans do that as a basis. Like, we gather the information, we cut out all the crap. Like, okay, that doesn't sound like it would work for me. So we get the best of the best, and then we make an intuitive decision on who I want to work with, or what I want to try, or what I want to do. So what's worked for me is basically, and this is where I start. I just want to go through what I start clients at. It's not about the diet and the exercise. Like, that is where most people jump into. And it's really just about changing your mindset. Because our mindset is stuck in this diet mentality of calories in, calories out. And that is just hurting us in the long run, because we're losing more and more muscle mass with this mindset of drastically cutting our calories, being triggered by, say, a weight gain on the scale. Like, the numbers go up, so we get triggered, and what do? Our response is to go and cut out more calories or do more exercise. This only makes the problem worse, okay? So changing your mindset is the first step. So if you're struggling, I would really encourage you to search out something to help you change the triggers, change the mindset, and actually question Is it really true that I've put on 5 pounds overnight? Because that's not a possibility. If you see the scale surge 5 pounds overnight, probably holding on to some water weight, maybe you had a lot of extra salt, there's other things going on, and it's not about the fat. So question these triggers, question the things that we've learned before, like if I just eat 1,200 calories a day, I'll lose all the weight and I'll be happy. Well, is that true at this stage of life now that I'm losing muscle? Is that really what's happening? Am I losing weight? Yes, I'm losing weight, but what does that weight look like? And I know we have to get more specific about what we're doing and why we're doing it, and then knowledgeable about what's happening at this stage. Because when our mindset is still in that trigger of when we were younger and go on a quick diet, do a quick exercise, starve myself, honestly, we are breaking down rapidly. So this is where I would encourage you to start first. Before you do anything else, what do I need to change? What do I want to change? Number one, and I spoke about just a little bit ago about your intuition, your emotions, the feeling. Like you feel things. We feel what's right for us, right? And I knew that I didn't feel right doing all the diets because I kept being hungry. And then when I lost all the weight and I looked at my body, I didn't look like the body shape that I wanted. I just looked like a skinnier version of the me before I lost the weight. So I thought, well, what's missing? And what was missing was the key component, and I'll talk about that. But the mindset is first. Like until I got to the point where, okay, I need to change the way I'm doing things and trust, 100% trust. Don't do anything extra. Don't think, okay, I believe it. I'm going to do kind of what's being said. Like I'm going to do the program halfway, but I'm still going to do a little bit of the other stuff here and there when I get triggered, because you're really shooting yourself in the foot. You're wasting a lot of energy and you're just backpedaling. So I'd say get your mindset first, okay? The next thing is your stress and your sleep. And you notice, I'm not jumping right into your exercise. Like I tell women in the beginning, just walk. Just walk every day at least 8 to 12,000 steps. That is moving more. Okay, the exercise, it's like last on our in our system of what works for the overhaul of this long-term change. So your stress levels at this time of life are super, super high. And I can understand that. Like we have a lot of extra stuff going on. We are so busy. And the more women I speak with, I feel just that deep emotional, like I want to hug everybody because we have so much on us and we're trying to do more because we're trying to please everybody. We're trying to do all the things. And now, as we're getting older, we also have like this fear in the back of our head, like I'm getting older, I don't want to become not important or not needed anymore, right? I don't want to become this invisible version. I want to be strong and needed and capable. So we have more stress on us for that. And I think that's a really big problem. So again, that comes back to the mindset, really focusing on, okay, is that true? And what do I need to do for my needs? Because if I don't focus on my needs first, who else is going to prioritize that? Nobody. Okay, and I know this doesn't sound like, oh, this is the typical losing the fat after 40, but truly, this is where everything starts. And then our sleep. When we sleep, that's when we're regenerating. That's when we're resting, we're recovering, we're building, we're repairing. Like there's so much that's going on when we're sleeping, and when we're a constant lack of sleep, like you might think, oh, I'm getting 5-6 hours of sleep on average. That's not enough, and over time, that's only decreasing our long-term success in in all that we're trying to achieve, because our body can't work as efficiently when it's constantly tired. Also throws off our hormones, our hunger hormones, and our satisfied hormones, so that we're triggered more to eat more when we're tired because your body is working to stay awake. Your body is always like. The first thing I want to say here is that our bodies are not flawed. Our bodies are trying to work to keep us going in the right direction of staying alive and moving forward, right? And it's just basic human principles. So when we're tired, the body just triggers us to eat because that's how we stay awake. Because when we have more food in us and the body's burning that food, and it does keep us awake. We have energy to spare. We're not going to risk falling asleep. So that triggers those hormones, and they're off balance. So I would say get your sleep in order. Work on a sleep ritual. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe you're having insomnia problems, or you can't fall asleep, or you keep waking up. And I know these are big problems. But again, it comes back down to the stress and the mindset. When you get all of these, you start working on these slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. but slowly and surely that will start to become a better, you'll have better practices, and that will start to work itself out. And if you can get yourself into like a comfortable sleep ritual, think about if you have kids or you know kids, when we put kids to sleep, I know when I put my kids to sleep, there was this huge ritual, and they knew, like they were in bed by, I mean, depending on their age, 8 or 9, they were given this, we had this sleep ritual. It was like dinner time, family dinner time, and then clean up the dishes, and then they had some downtime to themselves. Then it was bath time, story time, like unwinding time. And that took their brains into this space of like, okay, now it's time, we're going to go to sleep. So your brain then processes it's time to go to sleep. Well, what are we doing now at this stage of life? Like most of us are on our phones, we're on our computers, we're answering emails, we're scrolling through social media, and all of that, like that, the technology is telling our brains that it's time to be awake, that it's daytime and it's busy time. So when we try to fall asleep right away after doing all that, I mean, it's no wonder that we're having troubles relaxing and falling asleep. There's no downtime. There's no bringing ourselves down to this calm state of falling asleep. So I would say if you are having a problem falling asleep, turn off your technology at least 30 to 60 minutes before you go to sleep, and do something that feels good for you. I wouldn't eat at least 2 hours before bed, because that will continue to keep you awake. Remember, when you're tired, your body wants you to eat to stay awake. But also when you want to go to sleep, you want to eliminate eating like a big meal, or light snacks might not be that detrimental. But if you are having trouble, I would say cut off foods before bed, like 2 hours before bed, and then create a ritual. If you can take a bath, if you can, light candles and dim the lights, because that bright light tells your brain it's daytime, time to be awake. So bringing the light, the lightness down, dimming those lights, or having candles, reading books, doing things, maybe just spending time, just relaxing, doing meditation, a yoga practice. Find something that you like. I can give you all of the suggestions in the world, but again, we know it's going to work for us. So, use these suggestions that I'm throwing your way, and then find the one that sounds like, I want to try this. Maybe it's journaling, and I love to write, so for me that's a very cathartic practice, and it just gets everything out. I would say write things that you're happy about, grateful for that day, and things that are going to make you feel up. Like the next day, what am I going to do for progress? How am I going to put my day together? And what am I happy about now? And what do I want to work through right now? So all of that will help you create this ritual. Now, this is all to reduce our cortisol levels, because at this stage of life, our hormones are already fluctuating because of this midlife process. The estrogen and estrogen are changing, but now as a result, our cortisol levels are pumping up higher and faster, and they're more chronic, which then tends to store more. Our body is able to, responding by storing more fat, not able to, it is, storing more fat as a result. So getting these in check, super, super important. So if you're not already doing this, and you jump into a program or you do another plan and you think, okay, it's just about the exercise and the foods, these are really the foundation, okay? And then you get into the foods. The foods are next. Well, the foods are important because obviously we're eating, but if we're not taking care of these first and we're just doing the foods, we're going to continue to fall off track, because the mindset is really more important first, to believe, why do I need to focus on these things in my foods, okay? So for foods, what's worked for me, what's continued to work for me, I cannot stand tracking calories and macros and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just noise to me, okay? And I'm going to be real with you right now. Like, that never worked for me in the long run. Yes, it's important in the beginning. I'm not discounting that. In fact, if you're in my program and you're like, but wait a minute, you're having me count a little bit here and there. Yes, I do, because I know that it's important to look at what we're doing, because we don't know what we're doing until we see it in black and white. Like, oh my gosh, is this what I ate today? So until we see that and then we work on improving it, we're training ourselves really on how we need to change our food plans. Like, how do we need to eat? What should we be prioritizing? Vegetables, proteins, healthy carbs. Like, this is very important. Cutting out the white sugar in the process and the fast foods are going to eliminate all of the insulin that's going crazy, because we have cortisol and we have insulin. Those are the two hormones that are a factor for all this fat gain. So if we can control those, balance them out to a better state, then we're going to be better in the sense of fat burning. And then we can look at our nutrition. Now, here's another stress that can happen. If we're dieting if we're cutting our calories down too low, this creates another stress, and now our cortisol goes up again. So it's not just that it's bad to, not bad, but it's not helpful, not healthy to eat in this low calorie range, because our metabolism is being affected and we can't continue that long term. So that's affecting our fat and our weight long term, but it also creates higher stress in our body, because now our body's stressed because there's not enough energy coming in, there's not enough fuel coming in. And so many women have been taught to eat like birds, and it's embarrassing to eat a lot of food in front of people because we've been taught that that's bad, that's not ladylike, we don't do that. Yes, we do. We eat food. We are human beings, and we deserve to nourish ourselves just like everybody else. So getting rid of that toxic mindset that I need to just eat salads, especially when around people, that is unhelpful to us, and it's keeping us stuck. And it only comes out stronger now in the midlife stages because our hormones are all erratic. Again, and then the cortisol and insulin levels are off the charts because of all the practices that we've put into place as our normal way of life. And it's not helping us, okay? So nutrition, I would say focus on, and you've heard me say this before in the other videos, focus on nutrition of incorporating more protein and vegetables into your daily plan. And I know that might not be easy if you're not used to that. Start small. Something, like doing something slowly over time is the secret to success, to be honest. Like the people that think that, oh, I need to do this all or I can't do it at all, they're stuck in this limbo back and forth because there's no way they're ever going to be perfect. And if they keep going trying to be perfect to not doing anything at all, obviously there's no results that are happening there. But if you take that first step and then the second step and you do a little bit more vegetables and a little bit more protein, and then you assess, oh, maybe I should have added more, or I could fix this for tomorrow or next week or whatever, then you're making progress. And then over time your nutrition starts to pick up. But it's not going to happen overnight because these are habits that have become part of our life, okay? Then the next step, you guys have heard me say this a lot, is steps. Like, how many steps can you challenge yourself to get in a day? This has become a game for a lot of the women that I'm working with. I know there's some women that are at the end of our 90-day challenge. They're like kicking butt, getting 15,000 plus steps a day. So it's kind of increased my my challenge to like increase my own steps. So start with 8,000 steps a day. This might be a lot for you. If you're not walking a lot, you're sitting more, this might be a lot. And I'm going to say I can understand, because I was like really shocked. I wasn't walking at least 8,000 steps a day when I started to measure and track. So start here. And then from there you could start to add. Maybe you get to 10,000. Then maybe you want to start a little bit more. You go 12,000, 15,000. I know this sounds like a lot because it is, right? And you don't have to take like long walks, but just walk as much as you can. If you go to the grocery store, park further away from the entrance. Do things that force you to walk more. Like I get excited when I get to walk more. Oh, I gotta go. I forgot to get that from the other room. Great, I get to stand up and I get to go get that thing from the other room instead of like, oh my gosh, can somebody bring me that thing because I forgot it? No, I get my butt up and I go do it. I see the trash is full, I'm excited. I'm gonna take the trash out to the curb because I get to take more steps. Like it sounds ridiculous, but these are the things that I celebrate. And I'm getting more things done in my day too. But the more we move, the better we're doing. It's moving more, that is the secret. Not how much harder can I exercise, how many more exercise programs can I fit into my day. Those are taxing. Again, those increase our stress levels. Cortisol levels go up. Again, fat gain is increased. So this is all staying in balance, right? We're focusing on these. Our nutrition, focusing on the good principles of nutrition. I have a lot here to say, but I'm going to keep it there for now. Steps, increasing your steps, right? Because weight loss, at the very basic, we know is calories in versus calories out. So if you're in a slight deficit, you're going to be losing weight. And again, we want to prioritize fat loss, not muscle loss. So that's why we want to really focus on, am I getting enough calories to sustain my daily needs and my exercise and my daily movement? So I don't want to be eating like a bird. I need to be eating like a human being, okay? And if I increase my steps and I'm decreasing my calories just a little bit, like maybe fill your plate. Oh, let me come back to this one. I'm gonna come back to that one because I lose my where I'm at. So if we're increasing our steps and we're changing our foods and we're decreasing just a little bit, like you don't have to decrease a lot, decrease a little bit. This is what worked for me, and increase your steps. Now you're burning more calories because of both of these together. They're working together. So you don't just have to slash your calories. It's a better place to be For stress levels, again, now your stress is better, it's more balanced, the cortisol isn't spiking as much because you're in such a deficit, and it just continues to work together. Do you see? It's like a system. It's like your body's a machine and it's a system. And I mean, to be honest, it kind of is, right? It's pretty amazing. So nutrition. So how can you cut calories if you don't like to count calories? Again, I don't like to count calories, but I have done it and I do it. I assess myself every so often. And if you want more information on how I've done this, I can give that to you separately. I'm not going to go into that today. But for today, what I will share is in order to cut down on your calories, like just look at your normal plate of food or how you plate your food or when you serve yourself your meal, and cut out 80%, cut out 20%, not 80%, cut out 20% of it. So like, think of like, okay, how can I take off just a little bit of each part of this? Keep your protein, keep your vegetables. Maybe just slightly lower your, how many times you're eating, or by just a little bit, right? Just a narrow gap lower, because now you're increasing your steps. So this is higher. And now you're going to meet the need of losing weight. Again, prioritizing fat loss. And the last part of this amazing little equation here is your fitness. Now, fitness is not to lose weight. This is not for us to worry about. Like, this is so minimal. And for those of us that have been stuck in this mentality of like, I need to do more workouts to burn the calories, this is so minimal in the overall scheme of our day. We get more out of our steps and our daily NEAT activities. That's the non-exercise activities. Okay, that is more important for increasing the long-term all-day burn. This is just a time period, right? But when we're prioritizing this with weights, now the burn, that afterburn they call it, is burning, our metabolism is fueled higher for like 24 to 48 hours after the workout versus just cardio, like just running or doing high, something like really hard or high intensity. That just burns those calories in that moment, which that can be a lot, but then you're done. Like once you finish that workout, it's done. Working with weights, however, you're not done. Like that's when the body needs to repair, because now you've broken down those muscles to some point and they need to repair and come back stronger for the next time. So now your body is burning more, and that is amazing. And the extra point here is if you're eating a little bit more and prioritizing good quality whole foods, your body burns faster here too. So it's about increasing our metabolism, like burning more efficiently even when we're not working out. Okay, so that we don't have to always be stressing out, because that's what's keeping the fat on. We're not always turning to high sugar foods to stay awake and to feel the need for all of this low calorie stuff, the bird eating that we've been doing, because now we're eating more efficiently and our metabolism is burning stronger and faster. And when we put all of this together, I know it sounds like a lot, but once you start to put these steps into place, like starting here and then adding as you go, the power of it. And I can't even explain it, and it's exciting. And I know every time I work with someone and she's like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe, like I'm starting to lose inches, I'm leaning out, like I can see muscle again on my body, I feel so much better about myself. That to me is worth $1 million and more. Like it's priceless actually, because it's actually someone realizing the power that they have within them. Not having to turn to all those programs that we've done in the past that frustrate us, that trigger us, that make us feel powerless. You are so powerful. You are so strong and capable of achieving amazing results. You're only stuck, if you're stuck, you're only stuck in the old mindsets. So if you have any questions about this, please feel free to message me or comment below. I'm more than happy to answer anything. I know this is a lot, and this is a lot more in depth, but again, when you know, like when you just feel like, okay, that makes sense. I can understand why I've been struggling before because of all of these elements. And now that this stage of life is changing, my hormones are fluctuating and other things are going on, I just need to prioritize what I'm doing in terms of my day, how I feel. And honestly, when you do follow a plan such as this, you start to feel better. Like I feel happy. Like as much, like there's days I don't feel as happy, but I feel happier now than I used to, because I used to just be like, everything feels so hard and I feel the pressure and the triggers. And so it does lighten the load. You start to learn that those things aren't as important. There's lessons we learn through life, the struggles, the hardships. I understand that that's just part of life. But if we can learn from it and grow from it, then we can be grateful for those and not have to sit there and feel so like heavy and burdened by that, because we can only do, we can only do so much, and we are capable of so much more than what we're doing now. So I hope this was helpful, a little insightful, and hopefully not too confusing. And if there was any questions you have, just post them below. See you guys next time.